Nice.
All right. I have very special guest, Brendan Donelson, on with me today. And what's really fun about this is, Brendan, I feel like we are opposite people, very similar in a lot of things, but very opposite people on how we do things. And so I always kind of feel like you are, I mean, you kind of are like the OG of our industry. Every top producer in the entire country was coached by you at one point or another in their career, or you at least know them well. And I say that because there's also a lot of things that the new and up and coming class, like of people
Yes.
like myself, do completely differently, where you probably are like, I want to pull my hair out. Like
Right.
witnessing you say this right now is crazy. And this weekend, I posted on Instagram a poll to realtors saying, like, do you even want me to call you anymore after you submit an offer? In which a lot of them said no. And you're like, you need to be calling every single person. I'm like, okay, Brendan, like I have other
Mhm.
things to do.
Yeah, no.
I'll send the email. But you had the best take and strategy on when to be calling, what to be saying, and how to be doing it.
Mm.
Take it away.
Yeah, so I think this, it's so fun working with you, likewise, and I love the opposite. And I think as I've learned this, and I've got to send you a copy of this book that one of my mentors wrote about leadership, and it's about like there's a warrior phase, there's a king and queen phase, and then there's a sage phase, and it's truly like you're in warrior mode right now in your career, which is amazing. Like it's I just love seeing your numbers, and it's always fun to see your style and how you're growing. And knowing that there is a time and place for warrior, and when queen and sage, I'm kind of in that sage part, mid 50s, done it for 30 years, and see what works, see what doesn't. Always been around top producers, and so here's my thought that people who are watching who might not be able to close 15 to 20 loans a month, but then are like, hey, I want to have a quality business. I think you can do both. And I think that when we're talking about this call to the listing agent, this was born in an age when, I'm in Nashville, you're in Minneapolis, when we were having 15 and 20 offers and you could not get paid if your client's offer was not accepted. So I took matters into my own hands early on because Nashville was one of the top five markets. It was so hot, and you could have 85 people pre-approved, but your pipeline, it was like no one's winning. So the call to me, I had seen all the technology, and this goes back to like the modern loan officer, the stuff you're doing with Amir and others, where there's like, hey, I'm sending out video updates for my Tuesday status calls. I'm doing this. And I love hey, I'm Allison. I closed 200 loans last year. We don't mess around.
Yeah.
So here's my text. I mean business. You know who I am. Well, hey, that works for you in your marketplace. You've been there a decade. Your cousin, she's been around for forever. So you guys are known,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the person watching this that needs to know, okay, I want to get paid. My whole thing was listing agents are kind of not the smartest sometimes, and their number one adversary is the buyer's agent. Like, and when they kind of try to play poker against each other, sometimes things aren't said. So my first call, Allison, that revealed to me that I was onto something was when I made a phone call to a client to a listing agent before the offer had been sent out. I couldn't get the buyer's agent, and the clients were like, "Hey, we love it, and we think we're going to offer over list." And I just made the phone call, and it went something like this: You're the listing agent. Ring,
Yep.
ring. Hey, you go ahead. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Allison, this is Brendan Donelson. I'm calling about your listing on 123 Brookmead Drive.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, my clients, Bob and Betty Smith, are getting ready to make an offer on it.
Oh, okay. Great. That's amazing.
Right now, just time out, sidebar. A lot of times, I would never say, with ABC Mortgage. They would think I was an agent for a second.
Yes.
And they go, well, wait a minute. You said Bob and Betty Smith, like, are because they heard from the buyer's agent because they had seen it, and I was like, oh yeah, oh they're working with Susie Smith at Remax. I'm their lender,
Oh,
and
okay. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a quick background. They had come into my office in early January. Um, Susie had referred them, and they were also referred by some other past clients. And we met with them for about an hour, and they entered our upfront approval program. And so I know they're super excited about the property. And I've given Betty, or the buyer's agent, I've given her the approval letter that you're going to see. But I just wanted to call and see. And now this is what I start to say. Here's where it goes. Ready? I would say this 3 to 4 times in these conversations, and it goes like this. Well, Allison, I just wanted to call to see if your seller were to accept my client's offer, what questions would you have for me that I could answer right now?
Mm. Okay, a few things I want to point out.
Sure.
One, they haven't written the offer yet.
Correct.
Once the offer has been written,
Yeah.
there isn't a lot of changing it. And even if I have this all the time where agents are like, well, we can always adjust our offer later, but let's just get an offer in. And then it goes into multiples. If you don't put your best foot forward right away, like what is that psychologically the taste in the other person's mouth? I also want to be really clear, not all agents are actually calling the listing agent and getting a hold of them. This has been
Yeah.
made very clear to me lately.
Yeah.
And you talk about having I have 179 people pre-approved and out looking.
Sure.
No joke, 179 who can't get accepted offers. You want to talk about only getting paid if you get an accepted offer, that's kind of
Sure.
a feeling. And so maybe there's an opportunity where we do a little work on behalf of the agent to create our own luck. But it's
Yes.
clear that you're calling before the offer was submitted because the listing agent is more engaged in what you have to say
Yes.
before they have your offer in writing. What if you're about to write 100K over ask, full appraisal waiver, no inspection, but they don't know,
Yeah.
right? So we have their intention because of that. Okay, so
No,
so
you
keep
are
going.
you are thinking through this perfectly. So here's the interesting part. I could say that and say, "Hey, I just wanted to see if you had any questions about if your client were to accept my client's offer." I always say my client. I don't I own it because I'm like,
You're there, you're in
and
it. Yeah.
yeah, and they can hear your confidence when you say my client who came into my office. We met with them 2 months ago. And then so in what normally leads is, well, we haven't seen the offer yet. And I can dance around and say, well, yeah, I know that they mentioned that they were going to come in over list or at list or somewhere close. So I want you to be able to see that. But I do want to tell you, they're using a conventional loan, with 10% down. And the reason why they're using 10% is they want to keep an extra 100 grand to do renovations. They told me about what they want to change in the home, but we could easily do 20 if your seller needed to know where the extra money was. Again, Allison, if your client were to accept my offer, what questions would you have about our appraisal and our appraisal process? I start with the general and then
Yeah.
go to appraisal, and then I would keep asking questions. Hey, I was looking at the listing. I pulled it up when they sent it to me yesterday. It looked like it was empty. Have your sellers already moved?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. If you were to accept our client's offer, today's March 18th, what would be important to your seller? Would a faster close date be important? Because they've already been through underwriting, and I'm looking at my calendar right now, and April 11th is 3 weeks from now, April 4th. Tell me what's important to your seller if they were to accept our offer. Now, here's what's crazy. Allison, I've made hundreds of these phone calls. Believe it or not, when it dawned on me that the call was the most important thing and the letter doesn't matter, oh, I forgot maybe the most important thing. When you're nervous and you make the call, let's rewind and do the call intro again.
Okay, go.
Hey, Allison, this is Brendan, and I'm calling about your property at 123 Brookmead.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah. Thanks. How can I help?
okay, great. Yeah, my clients, well, hey, first and foremost, before I start, congratulations on the listing.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This was a tough one for me to get under contract. It's family friend, someone passed away, and they are nervous as all get out. I am just like, this one's been really getting me.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I just looked it up, and my clients, I'm the lender, by the way. I Betty Smith at Remax sent me the listing and I pulled it up on Zillow. I saw that you'd only been live for 2 days. You must be nuts right now.
Oh my gosh, my phone's been ringing off the hook. Yeah, this is crazy.
Well, you had mentioned these were your past clients and someone passed away. Like, by the way, you started talking. This is what they'll do. They will talk when you say congratulations on the listing. You must be going nuts right now. You've only been on the market for 12 hours, 3 days, whatever. They will talk. True story. An agent let our clients in early, and I said, "You must be nuts right now." And she goes, "These are some clients of mine, and they're about to turn 80." And this was a Saturday, Allison. And this is where I still get excited about this. She goes, "You know what's crazy? We put in the listing that submit your offers by Sunday, 4 p.m. But my clients are so nervous. Honestly, I'm just looking for first offer, and I think everybody's waiting until tomorrow." I'm talking on the phone. I go on speaker. I text the agent and the client, and I go on phone with listing agent now. Let's make offer. They had come in early. They were leaving that Saturday night to go back to wherever they were from. And I said, we don't need to wait. So, true story, I said to the agent, I said, "Allison, hey, I know the clients are relocating here and they saw the property at 10 o'clock this morning. I think their agent said she had already submitted the offer." Like, true story. And she's like, "Well, I haven't seen it in my email. I would love to see the offer." And I'm like, "Guys," so within 30 minutes, the offer was submitted that night, Saturday night. Agent texts me, "We're under contract." Amen, fucking hallelujah. Excuse my French, but let me say
Yeah.
this. There could be potential deals that are in your pipeline right now that if you just put your nose in there and said, "Hey, congratulations, let them talk." Then say, "Hey, if you accept my client's offer, what questions would you have for me now? Because I'm on the phone with you. My time's valuable, so is yours. Let's get to it. Appraisal, loan contingency,
What
extra
dates do we
money."
need?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go through those six things that
And
Jason Jacob.
here's the reality. When we're talking to these agents, your buyer's agent doesn't know. What happens is like they counter a date and then they wait and they text me. And now we're back. How can I make this as easy as possible for you? If I'm going to already call, how can I not be a nuisance and just be calling for a nothing phone call, which is the reality of what it feels like a lot of times, which is why you feel a little like, I don't know if I should call. So, what I'm going to be implementing 100% of the time from your DMs to me this weekend is I will call before they write the offer, whenever
Yeah,
I can get an agent to give me the heads up. I'm going to
yeah,
ask, "Oh my gosh, congratulations on your listing. Tell me a little bit about it. How'd you get
yeah.
it? Is most of your, like, I'm going to pull it out of them. We're going to have a business
Ju-
conversation. I want to know, are their sellers stressed? Do their sellers have kids and they don't want to
yes,
be out of their house all weekend when
yes.
people are traipsing through two opens? If we write a solid offer, would they accept it today?" These are all things they might not tell the agent. And newsflash, guys, your agent might not be asking these questions.
No, and here's the crazy part. I've had two agents say, "Hey, I feel like you're doing my job." And I said, "Well, there's no way I'm doing your job because I'm trying to navigate the timing for the client with all the money questions. There's no way you could know all the variables that we see in the loan application that
Yeah.
has 1,000 pages."
And there's an art
And
to everything. I have some
yes,
agents I would not ever have to do this with, and they'd be like,
yeah,
"I got this, back off." And I
yeah,
have other agents who are like, "This is my first deal I ever negotiated over 500K." The
right.
listing agent knows you. I have no clout on the streets as the
Yes.
new agent. I would love you to back me up and make me look like a rock star to my clients for them to get an accepted offer on their dream home. And so
Well,
it's communicating, being an
mm.
extension of them and working the system.
Well, and I think this, and this goes back to like a higher volume business, high quality. Could you pack this into a 15-minute call and literally instead of it being on Saturdays where you're like, "Oh my God, I got 180 pre-approvals, Brendan, you're asking me to make like 30 calls over the weekend." No. I think it's what you exactly said. Some agents are experts. We don't need to get in their lane. But so many don't know how to structure things. They don't really know how to structure even like, "Hey, the client's got 100 grand. Put a $50,000 earnest money with an inspection and a couple things to show in this multiple bid." So here's the thought. You're seeing this. I'm scared when you start doing this and you play with that congratulations because they will talk. By the way, most agents don't get a congratulations from their broker or even their other friends. And when you're like, hey, by the way, nice neighborhood, nice snag here. Like, what a beautiful listing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Silence. They say, "Oh my God, these are my favorite friends. They're moving to Cleveland. Oh, I hate to see them go." Then you're sitting there thinking,
I
"Wait,
live
so
in the neighborhood and you think,
yes,
oh my gosh, I did a Zoom with
ready?
clients. They're freaking awesome. You would love them
Right,
to live in your neighborhood.
right." And I've even said this, "Hey, Allison, you just mentioned that. Well, when this couple came in, they were referred by a couple other people, blah blah blah." And I know you get those cheesy listing letters that they're writing tearful thing. When I've met these people and they've come into my office twice, they're super like I don't. I can tell you this, they sound like the type of people that if your seller were to accept our client's offer, they would be great new neighbors.
Yeah.
You're throwing
All the
little
things.
punches, trying to be a person, because this is what I think. I think when everything's a video approval and an automated text, and hi, I'm Allison, I crush it, trust me, versus like you're when I get to talk to you and you and I relate, and I'm like the big brother you never knew you always wanted, like we connect so much more, right?
Yes.
Because it's like human to human. You're like, oh, he's not such a schmuck. But like when it's if you and I had a video relationship, it'd be like, oh, here's one of those automated things from
Yes.
Brendan in
Yeah.
Nashville.
And I'm gonna be honest, like if someone sends me a video text, I don't listen to it. If you send me a voice
Yeah,
memo, I read it. Like
right.
I don't even, I'm like, I don't know what they said the last three sentences, but I got the rest. Good enough.
But here's the part where it's fun because you're so on your A game. You're starting to like we're just role playing and you're starting to see it. I think when you listen and you hear that they're excited or they're nervous, the listing agent,
Yes.
when they're nervous and you play confidently and you're not the other realtor, that's when you can ask the best questions. And they're like, well, my seller this, my seller that. I think this, I think that. And that's all ammo to immediately hang up and say to your buyer's agent, hey, here's what's going on. Did you
Yeah.
know? And they're like, I could never get her on the phone. Well, she just talked to me for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
My thing is this, if you can get that call over 5 minutes with the listing agent, between five and let's say I had one that was more than 15, there's no way they're forgetting your offer.
That's
And and
100%.
that and that's when they're going to say to their seller, "Hey, I was on the phone with the lender. It's Allison Larson. She's really good. Actually, she said the clients were coming in from Nashville and they sounded really cool. Like done.
Yeah.
And when you get it accepted, you're not going to sit there and flash on Instagram, I'm the greatest lender that does the work for my realtor, but you're just going to say, "Hey, I'm getting paid and these clients came in and got pre-approved 3 weeks ago, and if I didn't make that phone call, they probably wouldn't have gotten that deal."
And just to give some context, I think sometimes we hear things from people and we're like, do they do any business? How do they know really what they're doing? Brendan, what did you close last month?
Oh, we closed 6.5 mil last month. It was a good month, good volume, 12 closings, and we have, I think, 11 slated for this month for a little over 10 mil. And you know what's funny, Allison? In my career, I always say this, the most number of loans I ever closed with one assistant was 26 loans, and it was October of 2003, not 23, 2003. And I think 18 of the 26 were miserable. And if there was a Zillow review, they would have given me a 1 star because I was like scrapping everything. But it's funny. I think this. I think a professional loan officer, this is what I think a pro is.
Hold on, can
Someone
we
who,
pause on this for a second? I want everyone
sure.
listening to this to say, if there is someone who's closing a little over 10 million in business this month and a little over 6 million last month, this is working. These are tactics that people who are actually closing business are doing that takes you no time to implement besides picking up the phone like you're
Yeah.
already doing and just being more strategic with what you're saying instead of it being just going through the motions on it. So easy thing that you can just pick up and do.
Yeah, and this goes down to a quality purchase business. You've figured out how to scale it, market well, and maintain a high number of relationships with with great producers. The you're a all-star. What I like to try to help is I think I want to take the person who's average, turn them into like a semi-pro or a pro loan officer. And semi-pro is 4 closings a month. pro is 6+ to 10 a month, you're a pro. At 10 or more a month, you're an all-star. You're just an absolute all-star because you're creating volume that's predictable. But when you're at 4 to 10 a month and those closings matter, and let's say you only have 15 people in your pre-approval pipeline or 30, not 179, I think it's a great way to be efficient. So
Yeah.
this was born from efficiency, not ego. And it was born out of like competition because you're competitive, Allison. And there's nothing worse than your client loves it and loses it over 10 grand.
Mhm.
Because here's the funny part, and this is maybe we can close with this. Once you collect that data on the call, and maybe it is a Saturday, and you're like, hey guys, I talked to the agent. They were pretty dry. I asked like a bunch of questions. They talked to me, but I think this is what's going to happen. I think it's listed at 475, and I think it's going to go for 525. And I know we talked about 500. If this house sold for 525, and we can all, I've done three ways with the realtor and the client, and I'm just telling you what my gut tells me. I've lived in Minneapolis for, I'm married with kids. I kind of know this listing agent and I know this area well, and I'm not overstepping my boundaries, but I think we're going to be wasting our time. If you lose this and you see it trade for 520 or 515, are you going to be upset? That's the best line.
Yeah.
Then ready? You're doing the realtor dirty work, but you're just going, hey, I don't even want to go to my computer and write an approval letter because I just got off the phone with this agent and I'm telling you, this one's gonna like I feel this way. And Allison, that's where probably more than half your agents wouldn't care because they know how good you are. And then,
Yeah.
like you said, four or five might just go, hey, I don't want you doing that. And
Yeah.
that's where I've had a little bit of kickback on one, but we got the deal. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I just felt like I needed to make the phone call to know. Like, I don't want to waste our time.
Yeah.
And I still do business with her. But the issue is this. If it's born out of efficiency and you can make those calls and you as a producer watching want to just get like higher close ratio on less leads, great. If you've got 179, we'll see what Allison does with this in the next 30 days or less.
I'm doing it on every one. I'm talking to it's like I'm voice memoing my top agents going, hey, let's work this angle together. You text me as soon as you know they want to write. I'll call, I'll try and get the skinny ahead of you. Then you can
Yes.
back with this skinny, right? Like we're on a team. I'm obsessed with helping my realtors win, and I'm obsessed with helping my clients win. And any little thing in my toolbox, I can do it. And guess what, guys? I don't have to be sitting on my computer to do it. I can be
Now,
at the walk with my kids. I can be at the grocery store. It doesn't actually matter.
by the way, most times I'm not at the office and I just say, send me the listing and I look at the pictures first to see if it's empty or not.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
in my brain. That's my time window. So yeah, this Allison, let's see
Before we
if
wrap, Brendan,
yeah,
you do a call on Wednesdays?
we do a call on Wednesdays. It's called the locker room, and the LO in locker is for loan officer. I host it with a guy named Dino Rossetti, who
Who's
has been
also
a
been a
coach.
coach of the Rich and Famous for 20
Yeah,
plus years.
Dino's
Yeah.
coached a lot of famous people. And then I do it with a guy named Michael Anthony, who has never really been a coach, but he's always been one of those $50 million loan officer. He looks like he's an accountant. He wears a suit and tie, but he's probably one of the most professional, well polished. I work with realtors, I work with planners, I work with my past clients like you. And Michael, I'm 54, Michael's 53, Dino's 55. So we're all the 50 plus club. But the fun part about the call is it's free, number one. Number two, we just go through LO sales tactics and things that we think are relevant. Tomorrow's call, we're talking about what do my past clients really want to know from me? Like that's the headline.
I like it.
And we're really diving into like, do they need all this stuff from HomeBot and all that? Or what do they want? And we're going to kind of talk through the dynamics of that because I think a lot of people think that they're supposed to do an annual review call and talk mortgages. And we're just going to uncover some things that are working for people. So yes, every Wednesday, if you're watching, reach out to Allison. You've been
I'm
on a
going to
couple.
you're going to send me the link. I'm going to include it in this email.
Great. Always fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how you change because that's where it starts. It's like, hey, if you hear something, implement it. And I'll share some more It would be fun to see how many calls we can make in the next month and see like the needle move
Yeah.
and go, okay,
I'm going to start tracking how much of an impact I can make with these because I want to be able to take those stats back to my clients and explain all of my strategies along the way of how I help them win at my
perfect.
pre-approval meeting.
All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brendan.
Thank you. Are we cutting from here?